hang on, ooh. So this is going to be Wednesday, November 6th, regular class, otherwise known as ooh. We're going to get into poetry homework number 2 in just a moment, and kids who are struggling from there. Stuff behind me. We'll see how things go. It's been a rough day. Kids have had some issues today. Let's see. Homeworky thing there, not due until Tuesday of next week. Handouty thing looks like that. There is a poem on there you're going to have to scroll down to get to. And then 3 different options. Connects to quiz coming up on Friday, not due till Tuesday of next week. Ooh, what's up?
So, and the date, was that London?
I think it was.
Yeah.
You are correct. It was London. Nicely done. Good head nodding. Jackson.
Is her nickname now Ooh?
Then, with the thing behind me up here, I'm assuming once again we're out of volunteers. Then, yeah, nobody's that. Then, who was our last person to go yesterday? Did we have someone go yesterday? Sickles it is.
Wait, oh, can I go?
I want to see if I can. Eli, you've already done it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the thing is up. And then Loki or Yvonne?
Yeah.
And Loki. All right. All right. Sickles, you ready? One moment. Hang on from there. Hang on. There's 2 kids I got to charge points. Part of the idea of having the putty is to not be a distraction. But then as soon as you're using it and playing with the kid at another table, then I get to charge you points for it and you lose the right to have it. Because the whole point is to help you not be distracted, not cause more distractions. That would be ridiculous. Kaylee, are you ready? Sorry, I got distracted on a rant. You know how old people are. All right. And we have...
What is similarly like her as?
You shall.
You shall see.
But
But with the metaphor, use them no more. Comparing the 2 nouns is what you will do.
that was a solid whisper game you had on there. All right. Sickles, that brings you up to 92.
Her nickname was Piglet.
And Loki?
With similes like or as I shall see, with the metaphor use them no more. The comparing it to is what you will do.
Wow, that was a solid whisper. And you are 2 points ahead of her at 94. Not $4. No. Dang it. Thought for sure I was going to win that one. Then, to our not entertaining yet poem, but will get mildly entertaining as we get a bit farther into it. We had 2 people read yesterday, didn't we? I got to pick on, was it you 2 I got? So who was the first half? Who was second half? Nice. Way to me into that one. So I know you've most likely slept since yesterday, and when you sleep, all the knowledge comes out of your ear into your pillow. So we're going to read it again here in a moment, and then rewind and get through it, and then get through one more thing to try and help you out there. Give me a look. All right. Then, first half of... also, Iman, the paper you got from me there, make sure you write first and last name on it. On the off chance you lose it, if your name's on it, I give it back to you for free. If your name's not on it, I actively torture you in class. I know your first thought is, I would never torture you, but then you turn around and see the kids standing behind you and the kids who are sitting over here, and that's part of my active torturing. But I would never have to torture you because I'm sure you'd make good choices.
I'm not in the torture anymore.
Yeah, you are. You're there till the end of class. Back over. Good try. Once you don't do the homework, you're there till the end. And you go, yay, choices! All right. Yeah, good stuff. Still over there. Or if not, we can have you come in for lunch. I'm happy either way. Journey. You ready? Me too. You may begin.
In just spring, when the world is malicious, the little lame balloon man whistles far and wee, and Eddie and Bill come running from marvels and piracies, and it's spring, when the world is puddle wonderful.
The queer old balloon man whistles far and wee. The Betty-ins come dancing from hopscotch and jump rope, and it's spring, and the goat-footed balloon man whistles far and wee.
Beautiful. Tear to my eye. I mean, enough pain. That's fine. And so as we get into it, we got far enough to know what seasons to take place in?
Spring.
And your evidence is?
Just spring.
Puddles.
Right answer. Wrong question. So nicely done. We have the fact that it says spring. What part of spring? Very beginning of spring. What season comes before spring?
Winter.
What's on the ground in winter?
Snow.
Nicely done. And then when we get to spring, what happens to all that snow in spring?
Evaporates from the ground.
Evaporates, and then so that it doesn't evaporate and becomes all squishy. There are two terms in our poem that are referring to the fact that kids were all excited to get out of the house and run around in squishy land. And the first, there we go. And running around in squishy land. Our first term referring to the fact that kids love playing outside is?
Mudlicious.
Good job, Eli. Way to be strong. Mudluscious, which refers to the fact that kids who've been trapped inside all winter finally get to go outside and run around and play, even though their parents yell at them like, hey, don't make messes. And kids like, whatever, old people, they go ahead and roll around in the mud. And that's when you get the kids who are all dirty and having a good time because kids love playing in mud. And then
Puddle Wonderful.
Puddle Wonderful is our other one. And so with Puddle Wonderful, you guys, now that you're older, probably don't play in puddles quite as much because you either have one, you have your nice new Air Force Ones, or you have your nice Uggs, or even if you're not wearing your Air Force Ones or Uggs, you realize if you play in a puddle on your way to school, you then suffer from squish toe for like the first 3 class periods where you're like sitting in class going squeaky, squeaky, and it feels all net, and so you don't play in puddles. Young children, though, they're not quite as wise as you. When they see puddles, they get all like, squishy, squishy, squishy. And they're like, future times worrying about that. And they get all excited. And so they're all excited because it's springtime. They finally get to go out and have fun. And then we introduce our first main character, which is?
Balloon Man.
Lame.
Did we talk about him much yesterday?
Yeah.
All right. So with Balloon Man, this used to be an actual job where you would go around, did that? Where you could actually sell balloons to kids, and they got all excited. And we talked about the Disney movie.
Yeah, and the one with the clown.
And the one with now, the Disney movie, in that one, he is a legit balloon man. Not throughout the whole thing, but the very beginning of it, when you talk about at like the zoo with his wife and he's selling balloons, he was a balloon man. That's where he got the balloons to put into his house. With it, and kids mentioning that one, he was not a balloon man. He's just a creepy clown with a balloon. But kids get all excited. They're like, a balloon, and they make the connection. But for the most part, balloon man, just guy who sells balloons. Shiflet.
So it was the one picture from up. How does the house stay connected to the house?
Because it's make-believe. So now we have our balloon man, and then we get to the adjective describing him, lame. On here, lame has changed the definition over time. Nowadays, when you refer to lame, you're thinking of like your parents who go to bed like at 8:30 on the weekends and watch the news, and they're like, "Isn't it late?" And you're like, "It's 8:30," and they're like, "Ah," and you're like, "Oh, you're so lame," and you make fun of your parents. That's not the original definition of lame. Way back in the day, we have one lame kid in here. And before, I know, you're all thinking, which one of us is lame? Me! Lame, back in the day, if a horse was lame, you had to kill it. Because you could not have a lame horse because there wasn't anything that could come from it. More than if you killed a pregnant horse, you'd have no more horse babies. So that wouldn't work. But lame means broken. So either broken leg, broken arm, broken... It's nice for you guys to all point fingers at poor lame. But yes. So there are a lot of lame kids in our school. So now, if you want to be all Englishy and educational, you can find one of those kids with a broken arm or broken leg, walk up to them in the hallway and go, "You're lame!" And then when they get mad at you, you go, "No, it's okay. It's because your arm is broken." And when they run away crying, you go, "You're welcome for being educated!" And then they cry. But back to our balloon man. He is lame, which just means broken leg. Which here means that he's probably walking along with little limp, having issue, and is like to say, probably not robotic, but broken in some way along those lines.
Heartbroken.
Yes, heartbroken or broken leg. One or the other. It's almost the same. Once again, you're thinking of parents and their lameness and not here. Oh, but our balloon man now has to make money, because that's how he makes his fat balloon man bucks. In order to do that, he has to get the kids to come to him. How does he get the kids' attention to
Music.
come?
Whistle. He whistles.
As much as it is fun having you guys yell out random wrong things, realize when I can recognize your voice, it makes use the poem. What does he do to get the kids to come to him? Nicely done.
He whistles.
And that's where the whistling comes in. So as he's walking along, he's whistling, which then gets the kids to come to him. And when they hear him, that's how he can sell the balloons to make the money. Which then comes down to our next one here. So as these kids are playing a game, we get to Eddie and Bill, which is really two different kids whose names are smashed together. First kid's name is
Eddie.
Second kid is
Bill.
Nice deal. So Eddie and Bill are then playing two games. First game, marbles.
Running from marbles.
I'm guessing probably not a game you've played because marbles was old even when I was a wee person back during dinosaur
Wait,
times.
you just ran from marbles?
If you do know what marbles is, it's not one where you chuck it. That's called dodgeball. That's a different game.
Yeah.
Marbles was sort of like the early version of like Pokemon. And instead of collecting cards, you collected little glass balls you'd like throw on the ground. And then
Why does it say running from
the other one, it's almost like if kids would stop talking, I could teach and we could find out. My special. It's like fifth period all over. Sorry, throwing shade. I know. I just called you fifth period. Piracies being the. Don't you give me shocked faced kids who keep talking. Piracies. What is piracies? On the
computer?
Jackson.
It's not stealing. It's making an identical copy.
You're on the right track. That is pirating something.
Same thing.
It is. But here, when they're playing at piracies, they're not playing at copying DVDs and selling them on the black market. They're using their imagination
They're being pirates.
to pretend
So
they're
they're
pirates. And so piracies is just them pretending to be pirates while they're out there playing. The whole smashing the names together, Eddie and Bill, realize this was a long time ago. It was like 4 years before Netflix came out. So kids didn't have a whole lot to do. So when they were trying to play out in the parks and they're outside because it's springtime, having a good time, and all of a sudden you have this balloon man come by, they get all super excited. And they're like, balloon man? That's like a marble that floats in the sky. And so the kids want to go running up there and buy the balloons. And boys tend to have issues because if they're in the process of playing marbles or pirates and all of a sudden you see the balloon man, everybody wants the green balloon because it's like their favorite balloon. And they're like, I want green balloon, it's my favorite flavor. The two boys, as they go running towards Balloon Man, start throwing elbows at each other's heads and like ripping hair because boys fight. So instead of becoming Eddie and Bill running towards the Balloon Man, they become one giant rolling ball and they become Eddie and Bill, all one person of ball rolling anger, running up there to the Balloon Man, trying to then buy their balloon. So springtime, we have Eddie and Bill running up there to come buy Balloon Man from him. The world is puddle wonderful, and we're all happy until the second half. Well, again, who's our main character?
The balloon man.
Nicely done. And here we get to the word that tends to make kids giggle, which would be
Queer.
oh, nicely done. So this word has changed over time from what it meant originally. Nowadays, queers connect like the LGBTQ community, the lesbian, bi, gay. So that's what it means now. That's not what it used to mean. The original definition was completely different. I'm guessing you guys don't know the original definition? And that kid like Bill's like, I'm all big brain. All right. Queer. Jiplin, are you big brain? I want you to be big brain too.
I think.
You don't know what it is. Just have
I'll
hope.
tell you after.
Okay, after I tell you, you're going to tell me? That's good. So, queer, the original definition of it just meant odd, strange, or different. Giplet?
It means odd, stranger.
Nailed it. And so, so when you liked someone of the same gender as yourself, you were thought to be just odd or different because you were not like all the other people. So that's why you were called queer. And then after a while, they just embraced that term and owned it for themselves. That's not what it means here. Here it just means odd, strange, different. It just means that our balloon man is a slightly weird guy. who's out there with his limp trying to sell balloons to children. In this case, probably not full Pennywise, but probably a partial Pennywise. As he's walking along like, come here, buy your balloons, children. And the kids are like, you're kind of on the weird side, but I really want a green balloon. And so they're having that balance of which way you're supposed to go. And then we bring in two new characters. Nicely done. Now, Betty and Isabel, first character is? Betty. Second one is? Isabel. Is it because they're fighting?
They're fighting with
No. Girls are not quite like boys. For the boys, they're fighting and throwing elbows. Girls, not quite. Well, one, girls are playing different games. Their games are
hopscotch
and
jump rope.
Do you guys know what hopscotch is?
Barbies.
Yes. Still proud. I know there's going to come a day when I ask this question, like, what's hopscotch? And kids are like, is that an app? And I'm like, no.
It is.
It is.
Oh God.
So, by the way, when you go to a hallway, you can't sit in a chair backwards. You have to sit in it normal way. It's just like sitting. Not that you would ever make that choice. Just put it. And so hopscotch, you like throw the rock and do like the dance. They still have them like an elementary school playground, which is so cool. Like hopscotch is like from before even my time, like pre-dinosaurs. Crazy. Whoa. But you get to Isabel and Betty, who are playing hopscotch and jump rope, doing little girl games. When they see Balloon Man, their names get smashed together, not from fighting each other, but more just the dancing and happy, like wrapping their arms around each other, like, let's go get balloons. Okay, yippee hoppy yippee.
I don't like this.
Here's my problem when I tried to come up with Brovy art. I kept trying to find a good Brovy art picture that would work, of like girls happily dancing. Nothing would come up. So use your imagination. I tried to do the best I could. So that was them dancing along with each other as they go running up to it. Obviously, I don't know how girls dance, but that's fine. And so they go running up there to go buy their balloons. And then we get to the part where it gets kind of weird. And it goes, it's spring, and we get to goat foot.
Oh, he's a demon now.
What's that, kid? Points? I can hear you right here. Thank you. And so we get to that loss of points. Oh, wait, no, that's that kid. Where it says goat-footed, as much as his loss of points might be, he's actually kind of close. The goat-footed is what's called an illusion. Not illusion, like what a magic person does. They're like, here's a thumb. Thumb is gone. It's back. That's an illusion. An allusion just means reference to something from a long time ago. Goat-footed is a reference to Greek mythology. All the way back in Greek mythology, there are these creatures called satyrs. They were half man, half goat creatures. Top half man, bottom half goat. There was one who was the leader of them by the name of Pan. But satyrs, their job in Greek mythology was to protect the woods. Wherever the animals were living out there, they didn't protect them with weapons. They protected the woods using this little panpipe and music. And the way they would do it was whenever a human would come into the woods to like hunt their little animal friends, like, I'm going to shoot that squirrel, and they would come in there to come shoot the squirrel, the satyrs would then come up behind them and then play music. Hoodly, 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 hoodly. And if you heard the music, it hypnotized you. And as soon as you heard, like, what are you, and you would drop your weapons, and they would then dance along, just going, hoodly, 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 and they would dance deep into the woods, and you would just follow them. And they would lead you far enough in, and then eventually stop. Hoodly, yip, and stop. And when they did, you then come out of your hypnotized trance, realize you have no weapons. They would usually stop deep enough in the woods, like a bear and a wolf going like, hey, how are you doing? You're like, and they jump on you and eat you. And that's how they would kill you. So now, to go back to poem. There is a reason why our poet makes this sudden connection between what the Balloon Man is doing and this ancient Greek mythology. And it's not about killing children. Kid who's trying to yell words out loud and lose points already. So there's another reason why he's trying to make that connection. Trucks. And what happens when he whistles? And there you go. The idea that when the kids heard the whistling, they couldn't fight it. They were compelled to come running up to him. Much like with this guy, if you heard it, you had no choice but to come running up to him. So he's trying to make that exact same comparison between the two of them. That the balloon man was like this ancient Greek god, that when kids heard him, he could not avoid it. Now, with this poem, one, so much easier to understand now. When we first read it and it looked like gibberish, now I can go, when does our poem take place?
Spring.
Who's our main character? Why are the names smashed together?
Because they're fighting each other.
Why does it refer to goat-footed? So all of those questions with beforehand would make no sense to you. Now you're like, oh, that's a really easy poem. It is. Plus, even though this poem was written over 100 years ago, like way pre-dinosaur times, it connects to today. Because the balloon man job has changed. We have a balloon man today. He just doesn't sell balloons. But he travels neighborhoods, plays music. When kids hear music, they can't fight it, and they go running after it. Sometimes, if the boys are playing, and all of a sudden they hear the ice cream man, like, "That's what? There's only one bomb pop left. My bomb pop!" And they go running after it to try and get. So you get that same thing again, and you go down that same path of Balloon Man. Basically becomes a big metaphor for Ice Cream Man today. So poem that meant nothing but gibberish yesterday. Now all of a sudden you can see the allusions, the references, and it makes sense with just a wee bit of explanating. Giplet?
So that thing, the one man dude thing, that thing.
Yes.
So, you know the movie The Lion?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that
Mr. Thomas?
Yeah.
You are correct.
Okay.
He was also in Percy Jackson. He's the friend Grover, who is in the movie there. And then he's also in Harry Potter. They're also in, and so these pop up a lot throughout TV and movies, stuff like that. Eli?
My mom doesn't let me go to the ice cream van because she says it's too sketchy.
By the way, good connection. How does that connect to it?
He's very sketchy.
Use my evidence in the poem.
He's scary.
Kaiser?
Queer.
The queer old balloon. So there's a reason that connection continues on. The same reason when you guys go out to the ice cream, you're like, I want to buy. You're staring at him. You're like, you want to buy ice cream? Like, and same thing here with Balloon Man. You're like, I want to buy. And you have that say. There's a connection continues. Way to bring that one up, Jackson.
Why is it named There's always
Why is it what?
unjust.
Because this guy never named his poems. All of his poems are just the first line of it. He did not believe in giving poems names. So any of his poems, you just take the first line and that becomes the poem.
Was his child named
Branson.
In a way, there still are balloon men people because at Disney. There's all
You are quite correct. Yeah,
They're not sketchy.
They're all very popular.
not as sketchy.
There's
Tomorrow, Nicole.